Customers were surprised when they found what appears to be a noose hanging from the ceiling of a Wendy's in Cary. WRAL started asking questions. We were told it's part of a promotional campaign. And as WRAL's Carly Haynes reports, the chain says it was not part of their plan.
Wendy's is going all out with its promotions, posters, a special meal, and decorations. But this particular item is getting a different kind of attention. Customers saw it through these doors of this Cary Wendy's, a noose hanging from the ceiling of the dining room.
We need people to say, hey, this is not okay.
The rope is surrounded by decorations that are part of a publicity campaign. Wendy's and Netflix announced a partnership last month to promote season 2 of the Netflix series Wednesday. Civil rights activist Kimberly McTarian says this is a symbol rooted in racism.
Whether it's promotional or whether it's historical, because we've heard that, the fact still remains that it's offensive.
We reached out to Wendy's asking how it got there. The restaurant said in a statement the item was unacceptable, not approved, and promptly removed. This was done at one restaurant, and while isolated, it was taken seriously, and the franchisee worked with the team to remove it quickly. We walked in the day after customers first noticed it. The noose was still there. It wasn't until WRAL arrived that an employee cut it down. We stopped into neighboring Wendy's locations and didn't find a noose in any of those restaurants. We also tried reaching out to Netflix through its media center meant for news outlets, but had trouble getting in touch. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, Cary.
All right, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High. And that video is used in fair use for literary and commentary purposes only. Furthermore, in another episode of We Didn't Know This Was Racist, white people acting oblivious to the fact that hanging in the noose in a southern town could be considered a sign of racism. Now, this happened in Cary, North Carolina, only 45 minutes from where I live. I was in Cary last week, and the news even starts that incredible narrative. Customers are offended because they saw what appeared to be a noose. What do you mean appeared? We basically see the noose hanging up there on the wall. Now, this story gets deeper. I actually talked to Dr. Matarian. That's my girl. She's been stomping around here for years with the activism and, speaking truth to power as well. But they're talking about this as part of a promotional campaign for the Wednesday Netflix series, and saying it was a promotional and they didn't mean anything by it. It wasn't part of their plan. How, Sway? How is it not part of your plan when you clearly have a noose hanging in the restaurant? Now, I talked to Dr. McTarian. I hit her up when I saw that article. Now, the news even said, so first it was a guy. It was a guy that came in there Tuesday. He was eating and he looked up and said, man, that was a noose over my head. So he went to the counter. And he said, look, man, what y'all doing with the noose up there? And they was like, whatever. They kind of brushed him off. And so he said he went back the next day, Wednesday, like the news reporter said, and it was still there. And so they did not take it down until he posted a social media post, and then people on social media saw it, and you know how that goes. Then the news got hold of it. So when the news got wind of it, just like they said, we came in Wednesday and the noose was still there. So that means they went 2 days with that noose hanging up there. And I don't know how black people were working in the, if they were black people, they had their faces blurred, but I don't understand how black people could work in an environment like that with their noose hanging up. But I'll get into that a little bit later. So then I spoke with Dr. McTarian. She said, yeah, I went in there Wednesday after the news came. They took it down. And so she said she went and, tried to speak with corporate, and she was talking, looking for a manager. And, they gave her some names. Of course, nobody wants to talk now, right? But then she said she went in there another day and it was still up. So the news came, they took it down. But when the news left, they put it back up. And then so she came again and they took it down. So these people know what they are doing. And once again, this is in Cary, North Carolina. North Carolina, they say, has 173 lynchings, but we know it's probably way more than that. And then once again, they're kind of excusing it away. Oh, well, no, this is just part of a promotion because the Wednesday girl is going to have new shape braids. That's racism in itself. They're hiding their racism in plain sight and disguising it as some sort of series of some sort of movie, as some sort of escape from reality. When they're showing you, like they said, they put that up as a promotional plan. So what are they promoting? You guessed it. What are they promoting? And anybody knows about Cary in North Carolina, we all know that that's the place for the bougie white people. The population in 2020 only boasted a 7% African-American population, with about a 60% white and a 22% Asian and about an 8% Latino. So there's not a lot of us out there. And so when you go around these enclaves, these Southern town enclaves, they will show you. And I looked up who owns that particular Wendy's on Harrison Street. Maybe somebody can get the research and, call them out, because the corporate office said, well, no, this is on them. Everybody's passing the buck. Now we're going to see what the managers and the owner has to say after leaving it up. Even that one day that the guy complained about it, that's too much. He had to come back the next day and make a Facebook post, and the news had to come to take it down. Now, I don't know how many black people walked into that restaurant, how many black people worked there. I don't see how this is any way acceptable to even one person to walk in and see that news, unless everybody's blind and oblivious like the white people are. Oh, well, this wasn't part of the plan. And, so now Netflix is, I guess they're passing the bucks too. Of course, they're putting out the cartoon with new shape braids. Now, if this doesn't happen, I don't even read the article detailing how that they are putting out a character with Noose shaped braids. And so Dr. Matarian plans to meet with some of their, leaders of that restaurant. But I want to know who actually owns that. If anybody have seen that post here in North Carolina, Facebook post, or the gentleman, please reach out to me, because I want to know who owns that and who approves that. We're going to, I'm definitely, I got to go to actually Cary this weekend. So, I'm definitely going to stop by there and ask to speak to the manager, because they're trying to pass the buck. Well, we didn't approve that. So who did? And they're talking about it was promptly removed. It was promptly removed, but then it was put up. And a day is not promptly. As soon as that customer expressed his displeasure, that should have been moved. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and they agreed with me as far as like black people in the South. If black people have walked in there and seen that and said nothing, that is just a testament to what we were saying, is black people have become so docile and accepting, especially in some of these southern states, that, we just put up with that stuff, and we're afraid. I even, and this may be wrong for me to say it, but sometimes I feel that this is the case when black people don't speak out. I said, black people in the South, sometimes I feel like they worship white people. And, it has been, mimicked by other people who feels the same way. So, once you've been somewhere else and then you come back and you see still people putting up with this, then that just shows to the mindset. But, and if y'all disagree, y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. But I'm sure we all can agree on that hanging a noose in a restaurant in this day and time, with the historical reality of America and North Carolina and the current political climate that we are experiencing right now. I could hands down, everybody who watches this video should agree, right? Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Y'all see the number 919-587-7782. Thank y'all for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And as always, peace and blessings. Scripture says all things that are hidden shall be revealed, and those things done in secret shall be exposed on the mountaintop.
Let's go, Rich. Let's go. You watching Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it. You should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. The propaganda grammar, don't believe none of it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it. You should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it. You should tune in to Telehouse Publishing.
Negroes have listened to the trickery and the lies and the false promises of the white man now for too long.